Rather than lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast and 99 Sport. Welcome to the first episode of the African Rivalry, and I'll be doing this on 99 Sport. Welcome to the. I'll be doing this on a Monday. We'll be doing this on every Monday, with Rokani David, Manchester United fan. That is the biggest rivalry in Africa, I think. Arsenal Manchester United, isn't it?
No, I think in Africa, you're right. If I told you say Africa in particular, because Arsenal gathered a lot of. By the time Arsenal got to its peak, United had already been to its peak, and now that really caused a lot of controversy and disagreements amongst fans. I remember my entire family. I was the first person to support club football in there. I was supporting Manchester United, but when you look at home, almost my entire family supports Arsenal, and they started watching football 2003, 2002, and Arsenal was at its peak, and it had one of the best players, Thierry Henry. And you know what? And you know what really brings on fans? It's the winning mentality. The more trophies you win, the more.
And especially in Africa, the winning side, the winning team gets more people, gets more fans. I don't think football, this kind of football, European football, is rooted into our society. It's all about who is winning. It's all about entertainment. It was right from entertainment, who is winning, who is trending, and then it became part of us eventually.
Yeah, and but it's not only in Africa, because stats in America are showing that many fans that are really starting to follow the game of football, because America was so much dominated with NFL, American football, NBA. Now, because they are trading football that side, now many fans are really attaching themselves to Manchester City, because Manchester City is really winning everything. You get? Yeah. So if at all other teams like Arsenal and Manchester United don't wake up, you'll find that the next scoop of fans that would have followed them are really going to go in support teams like Man City and Liverpool, because they've stretched their winning to another level that United and Arsenal have not yet reached in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking of a name to give this podcast. I thought of the greatest rivalry in Africa, because again, it's Arsenal Manchester United. When think about Africa, I also thought about the fallen giants, because despite the fact that United are still that big and Arsenal are still that big by name, if you look at the period Arsenal have taken without challenging for top silverware, right from I think 2005, when we last won the FA Cup with Arsene Wenger. From then, we've won the FA Cup, I think, around 3 times under Mikel Arteta, and more two times under Arsene Wenger. But we are no longer challenging at that level, at that top level. United, ever since Sir Alexander Chairman Ferguson left, what have you won? You have the Europa League, I think.
Carabao Cup and FA Cup.
The Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. It's not good enough. It's absolutely not good enough. It's been Manchester City.
Cossy, let me intervene for a second. Yeah. I always tell my people that really watch Manchester United Matters channel, I always tell them that Manchester United winning a UEFA Europa League, Carabao Cup, and an FA Cup, to me, those are not trophies, because there is no way they are really going to call you a big team or a giant when you're winning such trophies, because Leicester will come in and win it at a moment. West Ham might even win it this time round. You get? Yeah. But what makes you a giant is to dominate in your league and then win the Champions League or participate. Sorry, compete in not participate, because Arsenal and Manchester United for the previous years, they've been participating. They've not been competing.
Yeah.
That's what I want to throw in.
Yeah, honestly. Anyway, and that takes us to the action over the weekend. Arsenal lost their 3rd game in a row. Manchester United bounced back to winning ways, beating Norwich City. Cristiano Ronaldo again with another hat-trick. I think that is hat-trick number 30, second this season. That takes him to 15 goals this season. Remarkable. But let us start from there. Let's start off with the top 4 debate. Spurs, Arsenal, Manchester United. Where do you see it go? Look,
I
we all thought it was Arsenal's to lose, and I was personally bragging about it. I thought this time Mikel Arteta had all of us, get read it wrongly. The scripture, it looks like we've lost it. 3 games, on a bounce, 3 losses. Yes, we have some injuries, but I don't think that is an excuse for these poor performances. And United look like they're backing it. So, do you back your team? Do you back Manchester United to go to the UEFA Champions League this season, this campaign?
I won't come here and do allegations or really wish myself well as much as about Manchester United, because the inconsistency of Manchester United cannot really tempt you to come in and really say that, oh, Manchester United is going to compete for the
Yeah,
fourth
absolutely.
spot of the Premier League. Because when you look at how United do down tools, especially these players of Manchester United, the way they really come up and spoil the party, like yesterday, the party was spoiled. Tell me a team that has players that in the top 10 highest paid players in the Premier League, they have like 5. In the top 30, they have like 10. You get, because that lead that we got yesterday against, we got on Saturday against Norwich, that's one of the leads we had taken long without having in the first half. It's very
Yeah,
hard for United to get a
yeah,
2-goal lead in the first half. We
yeah,
finished first half when we are 2 goals ahead of Norwich. And guess what? No, it was 2-1. It was 2-1, but it was almost 2-0 because that goal came late in the 10
yeah,
minutes of the first half.
yeah,
So United comes back, concedes the second goal, and you ask yourself, what do these players know? Because I was telling people that if at all I'm a Manchester United player and you're playing Norwich and we are 2 goals ahead of them, what I do if I'm a player, I tell Paul Ebile Pogba, if I'm Paul Ebile Pogba, I don't really cross the center half of my opponent. I don't cross it. I just get to know that I'm supposed to be here, and the defenders. Why should Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof cross the center line or cross the center arc of the opponent's half? Why should they? Because you are leading by 2 goals to nil. Just maintain. You remember the game? You remember the game when Man City beat us 2 goals to nil at Old
yeah,
Trafford?
yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what they said? After getting 2 goals in the first half, Pep Guardiola told them that go and hide that ball from them.
Yeah, it's all about it becomes about game management, and I think
Yes.
it's been a problem for Manchester United all season. Remember that game against Aston Villa? I think it was Filippo Coutinho's debut, was it? I don't remember, but was it his first game or second game?
It was
I
his
think it was
first
his
game.
first game.
It was his
Ever
first game
since.
because he just came on as a substitute.
Yeah, exactly. United had a 2 goal cushion, and we were riding into the last 10 minutes of the game. And you thought, despite the fact that Villa had woken up and they had created, it was all about game management. And somehow it ends 2-2. Look, I think it's inexcusable because Norwich are the worst team in
In
the
the
Premier
league.
League by far this season. They are the worst. And how many goals have they scored against Manchester United? I think I was watching Goldbridge and was saying that Norwich have scored almost 40% of their season's goals against United, and it shows you that.
Because they've only scored 20.
Yeah, yeah,
They came into this game where they had only scored 20 goals.
yeah.
Now the two they scored against us tallied them to 22. You get?
22. Yeah,
And we are stupid goals that we conceded. And when you look at the Premier League right now, the reason why I tell you that Arsenal still has a upper hand. The same applies to Tottenham Hotspur, because for them, at least you know that however much they're inconsistent, they can at least put up a run. You might say that Arsenal can lose the next, maybe Arsenal have so far lost 3 games.
yeah, in a row.
Arsenal is left with 7 games. You get?
7 games, but games that are really
Yes.
difficult.
Let me reach my point.
Yeah,
But they might Arsenal. I'm just Arsenal fans. Let them not think that I'm envying them or I'm a prophet of doom. But I really believe that, to drive my point home, Arsenal can come in and lose against Chelsea. They can come in and lose against Manchester United, and they
yeah.
win the last 5 games they have. Do you know that if at all Arsenal loses the next 2 games and win their last 5 games they have, Arsenal can finish the 4th place of the Premier League?
Look, I think it's still tricky. It's still tricky, and everyone stands a chance because we are writing off West Ham at the moment, but West Ham still stand a chance as well. And why I might agree with you is Spurs, coming off 5 games, a 5 game winning run, winning 4 of their last 4. They did record a shot on target against Brighton, and that is how scary and that is how tricky it is. That Spurs they didn't score. They didn't have a shot on target against Brighton. They're going to play Liverpool, I think. They do have Liverpool, and then they'll have a game against Arsenal as well. So you never know what's going to happen. But my problem with Arsenal, if you look at how we played over the weekend, for me, it's over, Rokan. It's over. I would say United will finish above Arsenal. The reason is I think the players have given up. I think the players have come to terms that it's too heavy. We can't do this. Yes, we've done whatever we've done. Nobody expected us to be here, and that is that. And I won't be surprised if we even finish below West Ham, because, like you said, our next 2 games are Chelsea and Manchester United. You lose those 2, you're below West Ham. You no longer have a game in hand. It's over. It's over. It's gone. It's
But I
gone.
really believe that Arsenal has been performing better without pressure. To me, I've always thought the reason as to why Arsenal is going through this spell is because they are young players, they lack experience, and in such a situation, that's why the reason as to why you are really ticking Manchester United or tipping it to finish ahead of Arsenal is because of the players
Yeah.
they have and the experience
Absolutely.
they have, because
Yeah,
they did it way back in the lockdown when the Premier League returned. They won almost all of the games they had to play. You get? And I was telling someone that Manchester United can shock everyone and get a point against Liverpool, go out Emirates and beat Arsenal, and they can put up a run that no one expects because they know that each and every time they are not into the Champions League, their salaries get a reduction. You get? So I really believe that the reason as to why Arsenal is in this form is because they lack experience. That's why you see Arteta likes to bring in players like Eden Hazard on loan from Real Madrid, because he knows that they'll bring a different atmosphere in at Manchester United.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at Manchester United. Yesterday, it required a player who has done it all in the world football
36 years of age. Yeah, that is what you get. 36 years of age. That is what you get from him. Yeah.
Yes. So Arsenal just needs one of those players to kill off the game, and they don't have any, because Martinelli can kill off a game. He can come up and really score 3 goals or 4. But the problem is his mindset is down, because they knew they lost against Crystal Palace, they lost against Brighton, and they go into Southampton, which was a wounded lion that had conceded 6 goals against Chelsea the previous weekend. And I told you, I remember we were on phone, and I told you that the problem Arsenal is going to face is the midfield. Romeo and Ward-Prowse are really too good, and they play together for so long. They know each other.
Almost
At
all
the line
campaign.
of Broja and Adams, I don't know how Arsenal could stop it. But the problem with Arsenal too, even the chances they get, they cannot convert them into the back of the net.
Yeah, and that's a problem. Look, today I was reading Alexander Lacazette's comments on his future. And it was saying, look, I'm talking to other clubs. I have so many other clubs on the table, and I have so many options. And I've never stopped talking to Lyon. So probably in the summer I might go back to Lyon. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? This season you've only scored for us 4 goals, and 2 of them are penalties. You last scored a goal in all penalty play last year, not even this year. And look, with even the little respect we deserve from such players, they're not even giving it to us. But look, I hear you on that. I think Ronaldo, Pogba, Bruno, they can take Manchester United to the top 4. Hurricane, Son, that partnership has existed for what, half a decade now, 5 years, or even probably five or 4 years. If I'm correct, then you have the likes of Hugo Lloris, who've been there for some time, and the likes of Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg, who played in the Premier League. He's been at Southampton. Is now,
Kulusevich. Is it called Kulusevich?
Kulusevski as well.
Kulusevski, yeah.
I think, at times it might go away to from the quality of players on the pitch, and then you think about other aspects of your players, like the experience. Have they done it before? And can they play under pressure? I thought Spurs crumbled under pressure, but I also thought that when I looked at that game, I watched Spurs play Brighton, and I was like, this is not a Spurs that is crumbling under pressure. This is a Spurs side that has been, blocked by Brighton, because Brighton was so good. Bissouma, Mwepu, McAllister, they looked so good, and I was like, this is a Spurs side that has that has failed to play through the lines, break through the lines, because they've been broken by Brighton, and I understood that. But Rokan, if you look at Arsenal, we are crumbling, we are shaking. It's like we are just praying, when does the season end so that we finish in the top four? When does the season end so that we finish in the top five? And ultimately, we have been dropped out of the top one, top five. I won't be surprised if we win our next game, or if we had a very, very good performance against Chelsea, because now the pressure looks like, it's off our shoulders. We are no longer up there. We are working towards towards being there.
And to me, I really believe that the game of Chelsea should be the turning point of Arsenal's season. The game Arsenal is playing on Wednesday. If at all, even if they get a point, it will lift their spirits back. But right now, if they are beaten by Chelsea, I won't expect them to come back and show up against Manchester United, because 4 games in a row, oh my God, you cannot get your spirits back.
Yeah, you cannot. Yeah, you cannot.
You can't.
I don't know if Arsenal fans remember, but it's just a picture of what happened at the beginning of the season. We lost 3 games on a bounce, and we don't know what could have happened if there was no international break. We don't know what could have happened. We could have lost 5 on a bounce. We could have lost 6 on a bounce. And what is happening now is that Arsenal do not have that international break to serve us. We have to lose this game and then move straight into the next one, and then move straight into the next one, until when we reach that point where we cannot lose anymore. And the problem now is that we do not have so much time to lose games. We don't have so much of the privilege to lose games, because it's the end of the season. You lose 3 of your next 7. You're not in the top 5. Honestly, you're not in the top 5. And United, however shit they've been this season, if they finish 5th, that will be something good for them. If Arsenal finish below United, I'll be frustrated. Honestly, I'll be frustrated.
But, talking of the beginning of the season for Arsenal, there is a common factor that we talk about.
Yeah,
it's all about injuries. At the beginning of the season, Arsenal never had Aubameyang, they never had Lacazette, they never had Gabriel Magalhaes.
Yeah,
I think those 3, and Thomas Partey. Yeah, 4 players were away.
Yeah, and Gabriel as well. Gabriel as well was injured as well. Yeah, yes. Gabriel was injured as well.
Lacazette and Aubameyang had COVID. Then Thomas Partey had attained an injury when you guys were playing in the pre-season tournament.
Pre-season. Ramsdale was not integrated in the side. Tomiyasu was not there as well.
Yeah, Tomiyasu was not there. So when these players got back on the pitch and Tomiyasu was signed, Arsenal went on a very long winning run. They had not yet experienced for a very long time ever since Arsene Wenger left.
Yeah.
So one thing, the positivity that Arsenal fans should sleep on and maybe have hope in it, is that Arsenal has showed us that it can be a very good team and go on a very good run when all its players are here. But right now, only one player, to me, because I don't count TNT, because anyone can fumble on the left back. They can put in any player. But what Thomas Partey gives Arsenal,
you just change the system.
Yes. What Thomas Partey gives Arsenal, no player can give it to Arsenal. But this time round, Arteta has to show us his geniusness, because in the January transfer window, if you fail to get Vlahovic, what did you do? All right, we understand.
That is what I don't.
Why did you get in a midfielder?
Yeah, that is what I didn't understand. We wanted Vlahovic. We didn't get Vlahovic. Vlahovic went to Juve, but he also wanted Dejan Kulusevski. And the fact that Vlahovic had gone to Juve, it meant that Arsenal were given that, that license to sign Dejan Kulusevski. And then we went like, okay, we are not gonna sign in anyone. We are not yet sure. And then Spurs went and got Rodrigo Bentancur after Spurs getting in Zakaria, and Kulusevski after Vlahovic joining. And literally they did what we had to do. I was
And
saying
when you look at what Kulusevski is doing at Spurs right now,
yeah,
he's a kind of player who would have bailed out Arsenal in a situation like this. Because to me, I really believe that Bukayo Saka at his age, he has played a lot of football. And that's what I told people way back, that the reason as to why Ronaldo is still playing at that age is because he never stayed at Manchester United.
Yeah.
Wayne Rooney, who stayed at Manchester United, Sir Alex Ferguson exploited him. He played him game in, game out. You get? And he got exhausted. He got burnt out. Now, if I told Bukayo Saka stays at Arsenal, he's going to get burnt out at the age of like 26, 27. He'll be out because he's young. His body is still building up, and they're using him to play lots of games. I think if I told Kulusevski was here, he would have been doing a very good job for Arsenal. And guess what? You wouldn't even demand, you wouldn't even cry for the departure or for an injury of Kiatieni out for a season, because Arteta would have pulled Bukayo Saka back to the left fullback, and Kulusevski would have been playing off the right attacking side of the midfield. So I really believe that that's one of the buttons that Mikel Arteta got wrong when he was really buttoning up his shirt in the January transfer window.
Yeah, absolutely. And I said it in my January transfer review, and I said, look, I think the best team that that had done good business in London there was Spurs. Look, because Spurs, during the turn of the season, you need reinforcements. Injuries are a must. Look, you know what?
Mascot is an injury-prone player ever since he came in at Arsenal.
And Kian Tierney is also an injury-prone player. And what shoots me at Arsenal is we are behaving like we thought injuries are not part of the game. Injuries are always part of the game. They're always there. They're always there. You can never separate injuries from football. The two are indispensable. But anyway, that is it. We lost. United are back on winning ways. I hope that by the time we come back, probably Friday, it will be different, because we have a game on Wednesday, and United have a game, I think, tomorrow against Liverpool, right? Yeah, exactly. And I think those two games are massive. If United can pick up a point against Liverpool and Arsenal don't, for me, that will be the season decider. I think this midweek is, yeah.
I've not done my match preview for that game tomorrow, but after this video, I'm going to record it on Manchester United Matters channel.
Yeah.
I have a crazy thought.
Yeah.
I have a crazy thought. Liverpool has taken everything. They've won the Carabao Cup. They're into the finale of the FA Cup. They are toe-to-toe with Man City for the Premier League title this season. And it looks like they're going to beat Villarreal to go into the Champions League finale. Now, the only gift United players can give to their fans is to really rescue the history that we have, that we're having 20 Premier League trophies and Liverpool have 19. And how do you stop Liverpool? Go put up your bodies, fight for the club, fight for the shirt, at least a draw.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Liverpool got those points. Even if Man City wins, you know that, all right, the treble is done. Because in the history of English football, I think it's only United that has a treble.
Yeah, that has. I mean, there is somehow there is somehow the Carabao Cup is disregarded. So it is FA Cup, Champions League, and the Premier League, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I think United did that in 1999.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Look, I'm not troubled as an Arsenal fan, because the Invincibles record is still there, 49 games in. No one has done that.
And remember, we're supposed to break that record way before, but Ruud van Nistelrooy got that penalty in the 10 minutes, and he hit it on the crossbar. But we are going to break that record in that season. Yeah.
Do you know that? in the season when Manchester United first got 90 points to win the league, first because United were the first team to get 90 points, collect 90 points, and win the league. You won more games than the Invisibles in 2004, 2005, because literally we drew so many games in that period. As long as we didn't lose them, we drew so many games, and there was I think it was Piers Morgan who was saying that despite the fact that United had won so many games in that campaign under Alexander Ferguson, and they had collected 90 points, it doesn't take away that you lost a game. And I still remember. I don't remember which club was that, but was it 2-1? Was it 1-0? I don't remember. And I was gutted. I was really happy because United were going to literally they were going to rewrite history under Ferguson, and that is one thing.
And in that season, talking of the unbeaten run,
yeah,
there is a game of football that I've never watched. And ever since then, I've never watched that game, by the way. I've never seen a game end 0-0 when a team has had close to 16 shots on target and the total number of shots on target were close to 23. That game was Arsenal versus Birmingham. It ended 0-0. I'll tell you, Birmingham could spend 15 minutes without crossing to the half of Arsenal. Arsenal was in the half of Birmingham. For the entire 90 minutes, Arsenal failed to put that ball at the back of the net.
Yeah.
Robert Pires remained with an empty net. He blessed that ball and it hit the bar. It came back to the field. And at a point, I really felt like Arsenal was going to lose the game.
Yeah.
And by the time we were playing you, I thought that we are going to beat Arsenal. I was 100% sure. When the game was 1-1, I was saying, anytime the goal is coming, because we had Ruud van Nistelrooy, a clinical finisher. But I kept in mind that these people have Thierry Henry because Thierry was deadly. He was deadly. Any defense was afraid of that man because he could swift off the left side of the midfield, even the right wing, in the central midfield. He could play as a center forward. But that game of football of Birmingham taught me lots of things about football that when something is meant to happen in the game of football, even if
it happens. Yeah, I'm telling you, it happens. It happens because if you look at that Manchester United side that won the treble, just look at how they won the Champions League.
Very good. Because I watched that game, and for the entire 90 minutes, United was on the surviving side.
Absolutely. But
there are goals that would have gone to the back of the net of Manchester United, but United was only saved by the crossbar and the posts.
Absolutely.
But United went into that game without Roy Keane and Paul Scholes. You know, those two were out, and I really believe that if at all those two were into that game, it would have been a different game altogether. But when you look at the squad that Bayern had, my goodness, it was like Manchester United were students in a nursery class, and those of Bayern were at university. That's it.
Yeah.
Because
and I think that was the quality of football then. Look, even now we still have the quality of football. I think the revolutionization of football, for the Tuchels and the Klopps and the Guardiolas. But then, look, that is the time, because right now for me, I'm telling you, Rokan, I barely watch the Italian Serie A. I love Milan, and I really support Milan. I don't know if we're going to win the title this time because Inter are very tight. It's very tight, right?
Right.
But you know, back in the days, you could have 3, 4, 5 teams from Italy. You could have Bayern Dortmund from Germany. You could have good teams from Spain. But right now, if honestly we think about it, if you take away the money, PSG are shit. There is no other club in France. Juve, I don't think they can compete at European level, despite the fact that they've been that good. Winning the Scudetto, I think 5, 6, 7 years in a row. I think just football is diluted now.
It's not diluted. It's not diluted. The problem football is having is money.
Yeah.
Secondly, These managers look for survival. How am I going to survive at this team? You get? Because there are few managers like Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp. I think they're the only two managers that are safe on their job. You get? Even when his team is being beaten left, right, and center, their bosses are sure that he will turn it around at the point X. That's the level at which Arsene Wenger and Ferguson had reached. Because even when you thought they were going to sack them, they were not sacked. Very many times Arsene Wenger neared a sack, but he was not sacked because this is the man who had rewritten the history of the club. And when you look at Liverpool, who has rewritten the history of their club? Jurgen Klopp. Who has rewritten the history of Man City? It's Pep Guardiola. Now, the only person I'm shocked about is Eric Ten Hag. Yes. Because the way he has written history in football has really forced the board of Manchester United to go by him. And I really go back to Arteta, and I really believe that the board of Arsenal is going to dance to the tunes of Arteta, because Arteta has shown them, I don't need a player of 80 million pounds or 70 million pounds to come on and turn around things. I just need a Ben White of 50 million pounds, Gabriel Magalhaes 30, Ramsdale 30, Odegaard 30. You see, most of his players are in 30 million pounds, you get? That means if they add him another season at Arsenal and they back him properly to get in like 5 players, I really believe we are really going to have an interesting season. And this program we are on right now is really going to be lit next season, because Arsenal is really going to get back to the levels of winning and competing. Because this time around, I really believe that the squad depth has really let Arsenal down. If Arsenal had a really good squad depth, they would have been comfortably seated into the 4th place, and they would have taken the race or the run or the chase to Chelsea, because Chelsea is also inconsistent. You get?
Yeah. I mean, there was a time when 2 weeks ago actually, Chelsea were 3 points, away. Arsenal were 3 points away from Chelsea, and now it's just a massive gap. But away from that, United have today. Fabrizio Romano has come out and confirmed that it's a here we go. Manchester United, everything has been agreed between them and Eric Ten Hag.
Yes.
And it looks like the announcement will be very imminent. A few paperworks to get done, and then Ten Hag will be announced as Manchester United manager. As a United fan, I think, let me ask you, emotionally, how satisfying, how happy are you?
For me, I'm happy for one reason. I'll go back to the year 2016 when Louis van Gaal was sacked. I told people, a manager who is trying to build a culture at Manchester United, and then you sack him, then you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, the good thing is that this board has tried out all kinds of managers. A quick fixer who goes by names of Jose Mourinho has proved that whenever he goes,
wasn't it? That was, but he brought you the UEFA Europa League.
That's nothing, because trust me, getting us a UEFA Europa League, anyone can win that. Even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was just a goal away from winning it. And when you look at the history and legacy that Jose Mourinho has laid, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does not even qualify to lace the shoelaces of Jose Mourinho. That's how below he is. But he reached the finale of the UEFA Europa League. You get? Now, he was a fixer, a quick fixer. He came in at Chelsea, he fixed it quickly, and he won a Premier League. He went to the Real Madrid, he won league titles that side. He went to Inter Milan, he won the league, he won the Champions League too. You get? Now, they bring him back at Manchester United knowing that he's a quick fixer and he's going to fix this. He failed to fix it. You get? So United have tried all sorts of managers.
So is the question now? The question now is Ten Hag a realization by Manchester United that it's not going to work the easy way? It's not going to. There are no shortcuts. We need to sit down and then get a plan, because when you talk about sacking Louis, when you talk about sacking Van Gaal, when you talk about hiring Mourinho, I think it is something that Pamet Saka spoke about one day, in an Arsenal interview, and he was talking about the new project that Arsenal are building, and he said we have made so many mistakes trying to get back at the at big level, by buying it. So is Ten Hag appointment a kind of realization that yes, we are, we are going to go back to basics, reset, bring in the right signings, make sure that the manager has enough power, make sure that the manager is bright enough, make sure that the manager is given time, and then we see what happens.
Obviously, and the best answer is what we are seeing at Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Arsenal made a tough decision. You get? Bring in Arteta and see what will happen. Get him everything he wants and see what happens. Because it's always a rebuild that matters. At Manchester United, the problem that we had, I've had very many people coming around and saying that Sir Alex Ferguson had built a culture at Manchester United. What culture? There's no culture that has no structure. That's out. A culture has to be structured. Sir Alex Ferguson had just brought in his mentality. You get?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I was talking about when we were talking about, I think last night, I think it was Saturday late night.
Yeah.
I came on and told you that Arsene Wenger brought a philosophy, but he never put up a structure. In football, if you don't have a structure, even if you win for 30 years, that structure will come back to haunt you. Because
absolutely. And we've seen it, exactly. After Arsene Wenger leaving the club, everything crumbled. Sporting directors are running away. Positions are being created here and there. Now you have the likes of Vinay Venkatesham, heading football. Like it's in a mess. It was in an absolute mess. The moment Arsene Wenger left, he was like the cover to the wound, just like Sir Alexander Sir Ferguson.
Yes, and secondly, Eric Ten Hag is like a Mikel Arteta, and that's one as to why I really think that Mikel Arteta and Eric Ten Hag are at the same levels. Is they were spotted by the same manager,
Pep Guardiola, right?
At Bayern Munich, Pep Guardiola spotted Eric Ten Hag and said he is the right man to come and coach the
Bayern Munich too.
Team or Bayern B in there. You get?
Yeah.
Now, Mikel Arteta is being spotted by Pep Guardiola when he comes in at Man City in 2016 and tells him, please, leave that Arsenal playing job even if you're the captain, come to my team. So it shows you that they do have similar qualities because they've been spotted and eyed by the best manager in the world right now. Because to me, I really believe that no manager beats Pep Guardiola in this game. He's the best manager. That's what I really believe. And that's what I tell you, that Pep Guardiola and Arteta are the same. You get? But the difference is where Eric Ten Hag is going, they are players with big egos. You get? Will he do what Arteta did? Because Arteta trimmed their wings off totally.
Yeah, and I think with Eric Ten Hag, when we talk about will he be successful, that is the point you're talking about. That's the point you're driving on. And when I look at Ten Hag, I think he faces a bigger problem at United than at Arsenal, than Mikel Arteta faced at Arsenal. At Arsenal there were so many egos there, but the issue and element of player power was not as significant on a big magnitude as it is at Manchester United. We're hearing that there's some players that were against the appointment of the manager himself, right? We don't know who those are, but those stories are there. That many of them wanted Pochettino, and they never wanted Eric Ten Hag. And we are also hearing that Ralf Rangnick, and one of the reasons why he's struggling is, the standards he's raising. Many players are failing to meet those standards, and they believe he's overworking them. I feel the element of player power at United is absolutely so big than at Arsenal. And many of these players at United do have long contracts. Look at Harry Maguire. I don't think I don't think it's a problem in the dressing room, but he's having a long contract. You're not going to sell him anywhere to anyone, are you? So he's got to stay around. Then you have Ronaldo around there. Then you have the issue of Pogba. Should he stay? Should he go? So if Ten Hag is going to be successful here at United, what are the chances? Do you think it can be that successful? He washes away all the dead wood, all this generation of players, and then he brings in his. Or do you think he can be successful with this particular group of players?
No way. No way. The only way he can be successful with this particular group of players is to get in players who are talented and hardworking. Because for me, I tell people that I don't believe in a player, however hardworking he is, when he's not talented.
Yeah.
That's why I don't agree with people who really come out and hail lots of praises to Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay is not a talent. But you hear, Bastard was a Tiger, one of the best CDMs in the world in his time, you get at Germany and Bayern Munich, coming out and throwing lots of praises that when I was at Manchester United was playing very well. Those are things that they used to talk about Diaby, Patrick Vieira. Diaby is a very good player. What did Diaby deliver to Arsenal? Nothing. You get? You are as good as your 90 minutes you've played.
Yeah, absolutely. As a player, that is it. That is it.
So you cannot tell us that in training you perform very well, and when it comes to matches, you don't play very well. So if you can get in, because I believe that Ghana is a talented player, even if it does not bring in other players, there are a set of players that are talented that are only lacking a manager to get them and make it a team. Because United is not a team. When you look at what happened in the game against Norwich, Harry Maguire does a scorpion kick to the head of Paul Pogba. You get? And Paul Pogba
is absolutely fuming.
He has unfollowed him on Instagram. Do you know that?
I didn't know that.
You get? That's it. So it shows you that.
And Pogba's. Look, we will get to Pogba over the weekend, and probably the mix with Harry Maguire and everything like that. But Pogba's reaction on the pitch, I think it shows you the kind of divide. It shows you the kind of it's not him. I don't think it is about him and Harry Maguire, but it just reveals Pogba's stand and the comments Yoris makes when he's on international duty. I'm tired of this club. I don't want to be here. I've wasted a lot of my time. This club is not good enough. This is not this is not what I signed for.
So for me, I believe Ten Hag coming in at this club, he's really going to do wonders. Trust me. One, look at Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta has been just an assistant coach under Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
See the magic he has brought in at Arsenal. You get? The style of play is very good. And I tell people that Arsenal is really going to win the Premier League 2 years from now. 2 seasons from now, Arsenal is going to win the Premier League.
That's a debate you cannot win. One, when you're with me or on this channel, that's a debate you cannot win.
One day, one time, Cossy, not in somewhere. One day, one time, we'll come and discuss this on this channel. You get? And this prediction, I'm really going to do an opinion on my other channel, Rokan Media Football. I'm going to do my opinion on that.
I'm going to write that.
I really believe that what makes a team to win a trophy, it's the organization and being under the same manager. Don't keep changing managers. Look at Diego Simeone. He's not one of the best coaches in the world. All the trophies he has had at Atletico Madrid, it's because he has been having this set of players. He knows which player to sign. You get? Yeah. And these players will come in and fit his team. So to me, I believe that Eric Ten Hag will come in. He'll put in some 2-3 signings in there for you. And I really believe that there are players at Manchester United, but we are lacking that person to act as a glue to put these players as a team. That's what we are lacking. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer couldn't do it because he thought that he was being helped to be given this job. He used to babysit these players, you get? But when you hear what Danny Van Beek told his fellow players at Manchester United, because when they told them that Eric Ten Hag is going to be the next manager of Manchester United, all what they did, they asked themselves, who is that player that has ever played under Eric Ten Hag? Danny Van Beek. All of them hollered at him, and he
The guy
told
is
them,
at,
"You guys,
the guy is at Everton having one of the worst seasons in his life.
yes, you get." But they have to call him because they know that this manager has coached him, and they should prepare for him to come in and take over. And most players are afraid. You get, they're afraid because they know lots of changes are going to come. Because I know some players are going to be thrown under the bus. I know, I know some that are really not going to feature into this team because managers like Eric Ten Hag, you look at Arteta, Jurgen Klopp, Javi, Nagelsmann, who else? They prefer talent than anything else. When you look at Man City, no player, no least talented players at Man City. Look at Arsenal right now. They brought in Ramsdale. Look at what he's doing in the goal. He's a very good player, talented. You get Tomiyasu. He's good at what it is. So he's talented. You get. When you look at Kian Tierney, Gabriel Magalhaes, Benny White, Thomas Partey, Grant Xhaka, I have question marks, but I know Arsenal has nothing to do. That's why he's being fielded that field of play. If at all there is a better player who plays than him, Arteta won't field him. When you look at Odegaard,
I think that's a solution for the summer. That's a solution for the summer. If Arsenal don't do that, then I'll be surprised.
When you look at Odegaard, pure talent. Emily Smith-Rowe, pure talent. Martinelli, pure talent. Bukayo Saka, pure talent. That's what Eric Ten Hag brings at Manchester United. That it's talent that is going to really let you come out as a sieve, not a residue. In the sieve, if you really want to come out as an output that is in the jar that we are really going to take, you must be talented. If you're not talented, you're going to be residues like Pablo Mari at Arsenal, Joe Willock at Arsenal, and the likes. You get? So I really believe that Eric Ten Hag coming at Manchester United, I know fans of other teams are really rivals of Manchester United, are really shivering, and they know that there is a good person, a good manager, good at the game, who is coming in here. And to me, I'm excited. By the way, I'm not excited about United winning trophies or what, but I'm excited about the flair of football.
And probably United becoming a proper football club on the pitch because you know, let me tell you something. I think as rivals and rival fans, we miss that kind of Manchester United. You miss United because it's so boring. Look, I've had so many people say we have a new rivalry between Liverpool and Manchester City. What are you talking about? I've already forgotten all the games they played between themselves, but I'll never forget any game Arsenal and Manchester United play between between themselves or United and Liverpool. Those are not even rivalries. Those are classic games for a period of what 1 or 2, 3 years. If Manchester City fall off a cliff, we just forget about them. Honestly, I wouldn't remember Man City for long. They've won around 6 Premier League titles in the last 10 years, 6 or 5. I wouldn't really care, right? You miss Manchester United. I think personally, because let me tell you, UEFA are proposing that in the UEFA Champions League starting 2024-2025, they want to include what you would call wild cards, like Arsenal would qualify for the UEFA Champions League without finishing in the top 4, and Manchester United as well, right?
Yes.
I think the game misses these clubs at a big stage, and I'm not saying we should be there by default. I'm not saying we should be there by saying we are big, so we should be there. We should work for it, just like West Ham and Leicester City and all other clubs are doing. But I think for me, I miss that Manchester United. I miss it. I want to play Manchester United with a proper side so that we lose 3-1 to United, or we lose 3-2, or we get that 3-3 draw, and it's absolutely thrilling. But our next game against United over the weekend, it's absolutely boring. I'm not, apart from it, that the fact that it's going to decide on who finishes above who, there is no relevance to that game. There's no excitement.
But I really believe there is excitement in that game because, one, what makes it very much crucial to both teams is because that 4th place. And you might see a game of football that you've not yet seen in the Premier League this season. People came out and hailed that game of Man City and Liverpool. You get?
Yeah, it was a classic game. It was a classic one.
It was a classic. But that of Manchester United and Arsenal, people should watch out for it because it's really going to show. All right, it shows how far these two teams have dropped ever since the departure of their
long-term managers.
Yes, but I really believe there is some talent we are going to see in those games. You get? Because for me, when I'm watching Arsenal play, my eye is so much on Odegaard. I really like him because talent, the way he really does his play, run off the balls in there. Then there is other talent, Martinelli. I like Emile Smith Rowe, Bukayo Saka, the way they really do their things in there for you. Nowadays, when Lokonga is playing, I really like to see him playing because he's a good pass of the ball. And when you look at Manchester United would be having, we don't know whether Scott McTominay would have returned, something that I'm happy of, that we're not going to fumble anymore with Scott McTominay and Mark Fred. That means Nemanja Matic and Paul Ibile Pogba will be in the midfield. And when you look at people like Sancho, Ronaldo, some excitement in there, I will believe we'll be having some talent to watch. At least you'll see in this era of Ralf Rangnick, not team has created chances better than Manchester United, though we don't really score most of them. But you really believe that there is something that you're really going to come out and see. But the coming in of Erik ten Hag, by the time we play Arsenal, let's wait and see when that fixture is going to be out. This is going to be next season, the first game between Manchester United and Arsenal. I think it's going to break the world records. It might be one of the most watched games in club football because I'm 100% sure Arsenal is going to bring in like 5 players. United is going to bring in like 5 players too. And Cossy will be here on this channel chanting, Arsenal has brought in so and so.
Absolutely. And that is where we are going. That's where we're going right on the show. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Make sure you also subscribe to the channel. That's absolutely massive. I think both Arsenal and Manchester United are in a situation where you either sign players or you sign them. I think there are no two ways about it. Arsenal have gotten rid of almost half of the squad. And if you look at our 11, that is it. We do not have a bench. I think Pepe will leave. I think Xhaka will leave. I think Leno will leave. I think so many other players will leave. But United are even in a more dangerous position because they have to deal with outgoings and incomings. But let's start off with the transfer window at Arsenal, and particularly we're going to talk about 2 players that are wanted by Arsenal and Man United. Let's start off with Darwin Nunez. Now, Roman has come out and said, this is it. Darwin Nunez, all the goals, all the action is doing at Benfica this season. It will be his last season at Benfica in Portugal. He's going to be moving on and most likely in the Premier League. Erik ten Hag is a big fan. Mikel Arteta is a big fan. I think Liverpool are also interested, and Chelsea as well. David Onstein has said around 5 clubs are interested in Nunez in the UK. But first and foremost, if you look at Darwin Nunez, where does he fit more? Does he fit more at Arsenal? Does he fit more at Manchester United? Right. He's off. I think he'll be back on for a while. Right. He's now here. He is.
All right. Sorry. Something at me. But I've been hearing what you are saying.
Yeah.
Join Nunez, Manchester United, or Arsenal. To me, I will believe that Erik ten Hag is not going to first go in for a striker because that's not the problem to any team, especially if at all the build-up play is okay. Arsenal has shown us that even when their talisman, who has been their top scorer for very many seasons, ever since 2018, that is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, he really comes on and scores goals. Look at Arsenal. Ever since Aubameyang left, Arsenal has been playing very well. And they've been scoring in goals. Look at Man City. They're scoring in goals without a number 9. Look at Liverpool. They don't have a number 9, but the way they really...
of course, with Liverpool and City would be an exception because of the way they utilize that role. City play a 4-3-3, so do Liverpool, and the kind of target man you would call a target man in Arsenal's system or United system is literally not a target man. Actually, the role of Firmino and Jota and whoever plays that first line at City, literally is to fall back inside, create superiorities and overloads in the midfield so that they create more for their wingers. But I think with United, if Ten Hag comes in, I don't think it's just going to go, okay, we've changed everything. I think, it will be kind of an evolution where, anyway, let me ask you, do you think Ronaldo stays or Ronaldo leaves? Because that also determines.
Ronaldo is going to stay, obviously, because he is no manager comes in at a team and takes out one of the best goal scorers in the world. You get? He has shown you that at the age of 37, he can come out and really save a team. You get? Secondly, I was still telling you the reason as to why I was referring to those teams is because Eric Ten Hag plays with a 4-3-3 system. You get? And in a 4-3-3 system, there are players that we are missing, especially Phil Jones and Eric Bay are leaving. United needs to bring in a central defender. They need to bring in two midfielders, one of which should be a central defensive midfielder, of which, and we need another winger, you get, to come in and play Manchester United. Because Sancho has shown us that he does not play well while playing off the right. He plays well while playing off the left. That is Jadon Sancho for you. So I really believe that the most important players at Manchester United are three: a central defender, two central defensive midfielders, and a winger. Because when you have
that means you disregard Marcus Rashford. That means Marcus Rashford is out of the picture.
No, he's not out of the picture completely because
personally, I believe if Eric Ten Hag is going to improve anyone in that Manchester United side, we're going to talk about Harry Maguire, but I think it could be Marcus Rashford. I don't feel Rashford is a bad player. I think there is a good player in there in Marcus Rashford. It's all about how do we get him to play at that level. He must be playing at, and I think it's Gary Neville who was saying on the Overload that players like Maguire, I think it's Roy Keane who was saying that players like Harry Maguire and Marcus Rashford, all they need is that kind of belief in themselves. They need something to believe in. They need to once again believe in themselves. And I think Rashford, if you have a new manager, you have a new system, I think Rashford is going to be important. I don't think we will see United getting in a winger, anytime soon.
I don't believe. I respect Roy Keane. I respect Gary Neville, but that is childish talk. I told you, in the game of football, you are as good as the 90 minutes you've just played.
Yeah, but again, Rashford last season, his numbers stand for him. This season, probably absolutely shit. But in the past few seasons, his numbers stand for him.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
All that is being thrown out because Rashford is an English player. Go back to the season of 2019-2020. Yeah. Anton Martial came in here and scored.
I knew you'd say that. Say that.
Yes, but the next season, when they brought in Cavani and he didn't perform very well, do you know how much Anton Martial was bashed? Is it? And I really believe that Anton Martial, when you compare the last season Anton Martial had at Manchester United to that Rashford is having right now at Manchester United, that of Marcus Rashford is worse because he cannot run, he cannot pass the ball, he cannot shoot that game, he cannot shoot that ball. Then what can he do? Nothing. To me, I will believe that he has nothing to do and nothing to prove at Manchester United in there for you. And Cossy has really gone in there for you. But thank you guys for watching. Smash the like button, comment, and share. And if at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to go into the lower right bottom corner and really do the needful and really talk to us. Oh, Cossy is back. I was really telling you, compared to the season that Anton Martial was bashed by those people, the English journalists. he had a better season than what Rashford is having. You
Yeah,
get?
look. It's I think that's kind of culture that is kind of planted in the in the English culture, especially since 1992 when you get the Premier League and Sky, are literally part of it, and the media become part of it. And in this day and age where the media is literally part of everything, they've really done so well in terms of protecting their own players, and I think they should, because literally, if you don't protect English players, the amount of quality, the amount of talent that's coming from these other countries would literally eat up the Premier League, and you understand their point of view. But what I'm trying to say, look, I think Martial might have a chance because he's a very, very technically gifted player, uh, and maybe Ten Hag could have him. Could have him. He could play as a false nine. He could play as a natural number nine. He can play on either flanks, and he's very talented. But what I'm saying with Marcus Rashford is, it's more like when people say there is no chance for Paul Pogba. I think there is a chance for Paul Pogba just as much as there is a chance for Rashford. Let me ask you: if you are Ten Hag second, and you are selecting your lineup for next season, would you totally give no Marcus Rashford a chance?
I don't give him a chance. Do you know why?
Why?
You see, even at a team where a person who manages it is a mechanic, cannot trust another mechanic in the names of Marcus Rashford to start. That is the England national team.
I don't think it's a
You get-
mechanic. I don't think it's a mechanic. I think okay.
Yes. No,
Okay,
let me ask you.
okay.
Let me ask you. Let me
Yeah,
ask you.
yeah,
Can
yeah.
you compare Marcus Rashford's talent to that of Gabriel Martinelli?
No, I can't.
All right. Now, if at all you are really trying to do a rebuild, mechanics should be thrown out.
Well, look. Where do you throw Marcus Rashford to? Because I was asked whether I would take him at Arsenal, and I did a video I think last month whether on Marcus Rashford, and I said, look, I wouldn't take him at Arsenal because I don't think he's at the level of players we need to be bringing in. But there is a good player in there.
There is no good player in Marcus Rashford, you guys. Let me tell you. However,
Okay.
players like Marcus Rashford are just hyped. Those are just players that are just hyped. You cannot come and tell me that Marcus Rashford is one of those players. Let me ask you. That's what I told people about Paul Pogba at Manchester United. The reason that's why I want him to quit. You've been here for how many years? 6 years. What have you done? Nothing. You had one of the best central midfielders play behind you. That is Nemanja Matic and Herrera, and you're playing in front of them. What did you do? Bruno Fernandes comes in. He's playing with trash midfielders. That is Freddie and Scott McTominay. He comes out and pulls out seasons that Pogba has never presented Manchester United. You get? Look at Jadon Sancho. His debut season, the problem he had is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer never gave him enough playing time in there. But when Ralf Ragnick came in and gave him enough playing time, he's showing you that he's a different flavor they don't have at Manchester United. Now, let me ask you, would you prefer Manchester United to have more Sanchos or more Rashfords?
Look, definitely, more Jadon Sanchez. There's no question there.
Even at Arsenal, would you prefer Arsenal to be having more Pepes or more Martinellis?
I would definitely ask for more more Martinellis.
Yes, then Rashford should leave.
What I want to say, this is what I want to say. How old is Marcus Rashford? 23, 24?
24 years.
24.
Yes.
He still has a lot of time
I think that's
on
even
his
made
career,
25
right?
because yesterday I think it was his birthday. Let me check here.
Yeah. So if I'm thinking about Marcus Rashford, if I'm thinking about a player like Rashford, I'm going to go, why has he fallen off a cliff? He started off so well. Why has he fallen off a cliff? Is it the injuries? Because they say he played a whole season with injuries. Is it the impact of the injuries? Are we talking about probably this off the pitch activities he's been doing, government things, and is it the reason? Does he need to find more footballing reasons to believe in himself as a player? I just feel like he's lost all the belief he had. I watched him that Everton game, and he had two very very good chances, and I was like, okay, the Marcus Rashford I knew would take one of these chances, despite the fact that Pickford did a very very great job, in stopping him. Rashford would have done, a better job there. So, personally, I think overall he needs an inspiration. He needs to be re-inspired. Maybe, probably, he might not become, Mbappe. But remember, we compared him to Mbappe someday, and we thought, he's the English Mbappe.
Let me tell you, one problem I have with Marcus Rashford is English players, when they reach that age, it's like the diminishing returns.
Yeah,
the best they can do is to maintain that level or deteriorate. And look at players like Sterling. You get? He cannot get you something new. He's at the level, he has reached his ceiling, and now he can only maintain, destroy, or deaccelerate. And trust me, we've seen how many English players have you seen turn around their careers? How many have you seen? When they go, they don't come back. They don't come back. No one has ever come back. I've never seen any English player who comes back. Marcus Rashford, there is nothing new he's going to do at Manchester United. You get? One, because a player who is bigger than them all, in the name, he has won trophies, he has won Ballon d'Ors, and he did these things at Manchester United when they're in the academy and they're watching him. How many years back? Close to 12 years back. Is now back into that dressing room, and they now feel like they have no room. And the reason as to why Marcus Rashford used to play like that, because he was a player that was untouchable. You get?
Yeah.
And you remember very well, before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer left, Rashford was playing well, because when he returned, he even scored 2 goals against Leicester City. You remember very well? He scored in the Champions League.
Exactly. That is what I'm saying. That why because even before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer left this season, he started off with an injury, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, because if you look at Eric Ten Hag, and this is why I'm making a case for Marcus Rashford. If you look at Eric Ten Hag and how he loves to play, he plays wingers that always stay wide, right? Wide off the pitch, to an extent that they literally don't at times get involved in action, especially if the team is on the ball. His wingers,
but they are good cutting inside.
Yeah, they're good cutting inside. They're good cutting inside. They're good on one-on-ones. I think Marcus Rashford is not the worst player when it comes to one-on-ones, right? If I'm right.
To me, Marcus Rashford,
and he's also not the worst player when it comes to cutting inside and trying to take a shot.
But that's not what football is all about. You get? That's the reason as to why Thierry Henry in Barcelona, he played very well. He scored even a goal. And Pep Guardiola benched him after 45 minutes. He told him, I told you that this is the region we are supposed to play. And we're supposed to play ABCD. You get?
Yeah. Look, with that.
That's why it Cosmos.
Yeah.
The manager, if it was Pochettino who was coming at Manchester United, Rashford had 100% chances to come in and revive his career. But this manager who is coming in, he will train you on the field of play. He will demonstrate the kind of runs he wants to make. He will demonstrate to you the kind of passes he wants to make. You get? Now, Rashford is not that kind of player who's not going to adopt this, because for him, it feels like he has done enough for the club to gain a starting spot. You get? Yet, your history that you've done in football does not impact right now. You see players like Ronaldo, even at 37 years, he still comes on the pitch and demonstrates and shows them that, please, I am still that God that we'll always talk about. You get? Now, unless otherwise, Marcus Rashford comes out and puts up a performance that will force Eric Ten Hag to put him in the starting team of Manchester United. But to me, I see no way. There is a player in Marcus Rashford. I really believe people say that, but that does not really deny me sleep, because I just slip off knowing that he is a usual English player. Because when you look at other English players who have at Manchester United, they are far better than him. And by the way, leave alone the English players. Let me tell you, do you know that United has a player known as Amad Diallo?
Yeah, I know. A very
Very
huge
much
talent.
better
Huge
talented
talent.
than Marcus Rashford. Now, look, if I told you Eric Ten Hag, you have Rashford and Amad Diallo. Who do you think Eric Ten Hag is going to put in the field of play? According to what they displayed and what they displayed at Manchester United, Amad Diallo is going to get the number one spot ahead of Rashford.
Look, I'm going to say, if Ten Hag is going to give everybody a clean slate, Marcus Rashford should take it. If he's going to give and I believe he will give everyone a clean slate, I think Rashford, should take it. That is my thought. Honestly, because I feel he's coachable. Do you feel he's coachable?
To me, I believe he's not. Because
but
Rashford has come on. You know, let me defend my reason. Let me defend my answer. Let me defend my answer, Cosmas. Do you know the reason as to why Ralph Ragnick shifted Rashford from the left side to the right side?
No.
Because each and every time he told him while playing on the left side that when you cut in, first look for an easy pass or an assist. You get? Don't think of shooting first.
Then
because every time Rashford cuts inside, he wants to shoot. When he told him and he didn't do that in the number of games that he gave him, he put him on the right side and said, all right, let me see how Rashford plays off the right side. He does the same things. He's not coachable because Ralph Ragnick, with the history he has had, Rashford would have been the best person to ask him, how can I revive my career? He has told him to do ABCD, he cannot do it. He does not track back. You get? So you ask, what is Rashford going to improve? Because Ralph Ragnick is a manager who's really seen players, and we come out and tell you that there is a player in Marcus Rashford. He plays good on training, but on the match he does not really deliver. But the reason as to why Rashford does not deliver on the match day is because he does not follow the instructions of the manager. So to me, I really believe that he's not coachable because even one of the coaches we know that are good at retransforming players, look at players like Elanga. They've transformed under him. You get? Sancho, he has transformed. You get? But
I think Diego Dallo as well. Diego Dallo
yes, he has transformed also. Yeah. But Rashford cannot because he feels like he has done it all and he deserves the right to do whatever he wants on the pitch. And to attain that level, you must
I'm going to note this one down. When Eric Ten Hag revives the career of Rashford, I'll be here on this show and I will remind you that I told you Rashford is going to become.
Cosmas. I'm not saying 100%. I'm not saying 100% that Eric Ten Hag cannot revive the career of Marcus Rashford. That can only happen when he changes his thoughts because everything starts in the mindset. That's why when Ralph Ragnick came in at Manchester United, the first person he brought in, not even his first assistant man coach, he first brought in a psychologist because these players think that they've done a lot for this club, yet they've done nothing. They've done nothing. What have they done?
This is the last question I'm going to ask you about Rashi. When you first saw him, I think he was scoring. I think he scored in back-to-back games. One against Arsenal, where he scored a brace, and then on his debut, and Man City, right?
In the debut scored against Midland. He scored some. Was it 2 goals, 3?
Yeah.
They just brought him on and he scored those goals.
Exactly. Did you ever think that he would become a world-class player?
I've never even made that statement in my life. We've always had that discussions about football. Have you ever had me talk about Marcus Rashford? No. I just say that he can be a clear Mbappe. You get, if at all he really does change the way he plays and the style of play and reduce on the runs that he makes. He makes unnecessary runs, unnecessary passes, unnecessary shots. He's not good at really sitting down players or taking them off. He can really run himself with a forest of legs. You get? So a lot of things have to be beat on this guy because he is really, I think when he goes back, he thinks he's a Lionel Messi kind of player that can really sit down players because Cosmas, how can you go in first game? You try to go past 3 players. You know you cannot beat them.
Yeah.
You do the same thing in the next 5 games. Now, if I'm the manager, do you expect me to put you into my starting 11 when I tell you don't do it? Look for an easy pass, like in the game of Everton. He was supposed to shoot, and then he went for an easy pass to find for a pass to find Sancho. Yet all of us we knew that space was granted to him, and he was supposed to shoot. So he's unpredictable. I've never thought that he can be a world-class player, but I really believe that if at all he changes his mindset, he can come on and really get back to the Rashford. But I think even age, being an English player who is kind of mechanic, no talent, there's not too much talent in Rashford.
That is a very, very harsh evaluation. You know,
No, there is not.
you remind
This
me
is
you remind me of Antonio Conte when he had just come to Spurs. His initial evaluation uh, of Spurs. If you're a Spurs fan, you would say, get him out. He doesn't give us, he's not giving the club any respect. Get him out, because he said this bunch of players are nowhere good enough. They cannot even. Oh my God, I think that was the worst evaluation. A manager can give to a club. But
trust me, Cosmas. Let me tell you.
yeah,
When you look at the English players at Arsenal,
yeah,
they are performing far much better than those at Manchester United. The reason players at Arsenal who are English are talented. They are talented. Ramsdale is talented. Ben White is talented. When you see the things he does, he's talented and he's willing to learn. You get?
yeah. No question
Um,
there.
there is Emily Smith Rowe.
Well, it looks like he lost his signal. We lost him definitely. But it's been a great discussion. I mean, we intended it to run for as long as we could. I definitely think he's not going to be on because of power. But look, the big talking points in this one, we've talked about Eric Ten Hag. We've talked about the striker situation at both clubs, Manchester United and Arsenal. And they also talked about our weekend review. Hopefully, we can do this every Monday and a Friday. I'll make sure that we do this every Monday and a Friday. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and why not? I'll speak to you right in the next one.
Anywhere you go, give it